So let's get into this Kiara thing, right? I don't know if you guys have seen this yet, but it's been sent to me a few times. Got a few notes here, and it's timestamped, so we're going to kind of get through it pretty. I don't know if it'd be quick because I have some commentary on everything, but we'll get through it either way. So a little bit of background. Kiara is a 33-year-old who's had 2 kids with 2 other men while she was married to her husband. So she jokes in this calling 3 baby daddies of 2 kids. We'll get into, well, let's just start playing it. And I'll have to pause along the way to add commentary for sort of feedback on what I think's going on. So let's just get into this.
Yes, hi.
Kiara, where are you from originally? Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in...
By the way, I'm playing this at 1.5 times speed, so it doesn't take 25 minutes to just play time. So we'll get through a little faster.
in Northwest Indiana, a very small town called Griffith, 2 miles by 2 miles.
Tell me about your childhood growing up.
I had both parents in the home. It was a fairly okay childhood. I had my dad in the home, but my theory is he stopped paying attention to me when I got a mind of my own.
So this is really important. She's going to talk a little bit later on. In fact, I'll probably skip ahead to relationship with the father after this commentary, and then jump back again to talk more about the betrayal on her husband. But I've talked many times about daddy issues being a problem with girls. Daddy issues can be, dad can be a piece of furniture, absent, and in this case, didn't pay attention to me. Let me just skip up ahead to relationship with her father up over here, and we'll go back because I think the father part's one of the major red flags here. And play.
But your relationship with your father was
Tumultuous.
tumultuous?
Yeah. I was a daddy's girl until I could form my own opinions, I say. Once everything daddy said wasn't right and wasn't true, that's kind of when he, I don't want to say he didn't care.
So I've been marinating on the whole why society and culture is so messed up today. And everybody's got their own fix for it. I'm going to put 90% of the fix in the household. And I think the problem really is that fathers are no longer at the head of the household with authority. They have responsibility still, but they don't have the authority that they had to set boundaries and guidelines, you know, for their kids, especially for their daughters. Because I mean, I think one of the reasons why girls today, and you know, as they turn into adults and women, rebel and push back, is because they've been told to. Culture, music, you know, Hollywood, you know, the strong feminist narrative, you know, around woman needs a man like a fish needs a bicycle, or why should you listen to a man, or we all hate the patriarchy now, sort of stuff. So this is just one example, and you know, the outcome of it here is a sleeve tatted, big hoop ear, and I'm not talking about the hoop-de-hoop earrings if you look closely, and I've got the resolution toned down on this just so it plays clearly through StreamYard, but you can go watch the video. She doesn't have a big hoop earring. She's got one of those big implants in her earlobe where they drill a hole and they like push out the earlobe so it turns into one of these giant clown things. This chick's got more red flags than a Chinese Communist parade, but let's keep playing about her relationship with dad.
He just stopped being so present in my life. And he would make comments about my weight, and I got eating you know, just, he wasn't a nice man.
Now, you're going to hear her say, he wasn't a nice man. He wasn't a kind man. He was mean to me. You're going to hear her say this a lot through this entire video about different men in her life.
And I know that's where I get wanting kindness so bad. He was never a nice man. But now he's older. I mean, I gave him the boy he always wanted, so he's kinder. But I still can't cry in front of him. Tears are a big trigger for him. And now tears are a trigger for me. When my kids cry, even though I cry every day, when my kids cry, I will lose it. I just can't.
Okay, we can go back now because all she does is talks about crying over here. The next timestamp I had was her childhood, about 55 seconds. So let's go around here and we'll play this bit.
The roughest part of my childhood was probably watching my parents get into some legal trouble when I was very young. I didn't even find out what they did until I was 15 or 16, but the house got raided and I watched my parents get taken away. So
What were they doing?
they were drug dealers. So, but
Watch her body language and her mannerisms, the way that she moves and the behavior. And she's got a weird eye twitch, which I hope you can see with the resolution, the way that it's set. If not, again, I'll break it down. But in her youth, parents were drug dealers. I mean, if you meet a girl in your 20s and you start dating and you start having the conversation, as you should, tell me about your relationship with your parents. You can use that language. You can just say, hey, what was it like growing up in your household? And just shut up and listen. Use your ears and your mouth in the ratio that they were given to you. Close your mouth, open your ears, and just let her talk. You'll probably find that she will sing like a canary. Women like talking about stuff. They like playing the victim card. They like just throwing up all this information if you let them talk. So, I mean, she's here on YouTube with I don't know how many views this has right now. Over 500,000. Channel's got 5.2 million subscribers. She's telling the world about her childhood. Women love to talk. You know, like I said, we live in a day and age now where you can go on TikTok and Instagram and social media and look at a woman's pretty much her entire past as she's put it out there, because they love talking about this stuff. I've done videos in the past in my car and other podcasts where we've seen women sitting in Tulum and talking about these multiple guys that they've dated back to back, like they're creating this public diary about their promiscuity and stuff like this. So again, what was your relationship with, like, you know, with your parents growing up? You know, tell me about that. Maybe if she only talks about one parent, say, okay, well, what happened to mom or what happened to dad, and sort of, you know, get in that. And again, shut up and just let her talk, and you'll hear exactly what it is that you need to hear. They will tell you their red flags if you ask questions and listen. Okay, bad childhood, parents were arrested, parents were drug dealers. Dad was a piece of furniture, didn't pay attention to me. What happens when women don't get attention? We know with the soft necks, it's one of the tools in the toolbox I talk about in my book, The Unplugged Alpha. If you haven't read it, get it. It's available on Amazon. Looks like this. I know I have to keep doing this every show. They seek attention. Attention is the currency in the realm of girl world. When women behave badly, we talk about using a soft next, which is just removing your attention. They've pushed into a boundary that you've set. You don't talk to them for a few days. You don't respond to their attacks. You let them marinate on what they've done. And then you can come back and say, you know, do we have an understanding? You know, have you learned your lesson, basically? I am not going to tolerate insert behavior, sort of thing. So when you take away attention, women lose their shit. And it's why they come back with a soft next and they generally behave better and fall in line. When dad takes away attention from her, because I'm assuming she didn't listen because she's talking about rebelling when, you know, she got into her teen years and not probably following his guidelines and boundaries is what I'm going to assume is it generally breaks down to, then of course you're going to end up with a problematic woman as she becomes older. And again, these are things you can vet for, guys, if you ask questions, if you have these conversations.
But everybody's clean and sober now and doing really well.
Good. How far did you in school?
Oh, I graduated. I graduated from my local high school in Griffith.
What kind of kid were you in high school?
I was a good kid until I turned 16. And then I started smoking weed, skipping school, doing drugs, drinking. I actually got expelled December.
She talks about everything here. Weed, drugs, getting in car accidents while stoned, getting arrested for trafficking Xanax and so on and so forth. She doesn't talk about sex. Again, women are very, very secretive about their notch count. I think it's one of the few areas that they don't generally overtly talk about, but it's something that you can calculate by watching their behavior and, you know, what they do with their years, of course, but pay attention. I really hope you guys enjoyed that clip. If you want to watch the full-length podcast, you can find that over here, that clip's from. If you're newer to the channel, make sure you hit subscribe over here and pin down below in the top comment. You'll find a bunch of useful links to my website, my supplement line, books, and a bunch of other stuff. Have an amazing day. Peace out.